It's setting up the meeting. It's setting up the meeting. Welcome to Ambassador Public Speaking Introduction to Meeting. My name is Jason, and I'm going to be teaching some topics for public speaking and welcome to Ambassador Public Speaking Introduction to Meeting. My name is Jason, and I'm going to be teaching some topics. Okay, that was fun. Introduction to Public Speaking Teachers Training 2022. So we sent out the housekeeping forms, and we're going to talk about public speaking as an audience-focused presentation. So one of the things I'd like for us to ask ourselves while we are listening to this presentation is what our goals for public speaking are, what we want our students to accomplish through public speaking, whether more confidence, better etiquette, more engaging stories. Now is a time to just set that while we hear about public speaking. So today we will meet me, talk about some goals for the course. We're going to have a conversation about that. We're going to go through a slideshow and answer some questions about the syllabus and upcoming expectations. So meet the trainer. That's not me, that's my good friend and partner, Daniel, but I'm Jason, and Daniel and I teach English classes together. And during this course, we're going to go over public speaking fundamentals. We're going to learn to teach public speaking. We're going to connect with other educators. And we're going to work to maximize student engagement. We're going to work that students should spend as much time as possible practicing speaking so that they can improve. And that's the goal, is to bring public speaking in English into the classroom. So where is public speaking relative to other English speaking activities? So at Ambassador, we teach 4 topics. One is Model UN, which is a speaking activity that involves diplomacy, leadership, coalition building, and negotiations and writing. Public speaking, which we call the art of storytelling. We talk about the parts of a story or a speech, how to illuminate characters and give depth and sensory to a story. Debate is logical arguments, and there's a formal inquiry and setup to a debate where the logic is examined as the persuasive method. And negotiating, which is 2 parties or more attempting to reach an accommodation between themselves regarding mutual gain. And so public speaking is the art of storytelling. If anybody sees anybody in the waiting room of the Zoom meeting, please let them in. So there are many aspects of public speaking. One of the definitions are the act or process of making speeches in public, the art of effective oral communication with an audience. So again, that's there's also a persuasion method that generally people are speaking.
I can't hear anything. What happened? Something stuck?
He's stuck. He froze. He froze.
What happened?
It's just him, just Jason.
Jason disappeared. Does that mean we have public speaking without him? Hi, Jason.
Fantastic. Let me go back to the screen share. Sorry about my internet cutting out in the middle. So that's part of the feedback and the setting, is that things can happen, and how do we roll with the unexpected things that happen when we're on stage speaking in public. So we've divided public speaking up into 4 main parts. One is to inform the listener. We want to impart knowledge. We have special wisdom that we want to give, a gift that keeps giving. So to inform or impart knowledge. I spoke about persuasion before. We want to persuade people to speak or to think differently. So we're giving them a new idea and a new reason to think in an alternative fashion. Speaking to actuate, achieve action. We want people to change their behavior. We want them to do something different, to break a habit. I'm going to persuade you to stop smoking because it's good for your health. So we can work on a call to action, or for entertainment. And I'm sure we all have comedians who are very entertaining and can stand on stage and delight us. And it's not knowledge, but it's funny, and we appreciate it. So these are 4 very different types of important public speeches, and we're going to go into some more rules about public speaking. So personal communication is a lot about body language. On Zoom, it's focused on my head and shoulders. In real life, there's an entire body. There's a lot of communication that's not spoken, but there's also a very huge emphasis on what is spoken. So part of this course will also be to pay attention to our own body language and to give tips to people on their body language so that they can have more confidence. And these can be things like making sure to look up in a live audience, to look around the classroom or room, to look people in the eyes, to have pauses, to speak more quickly or slowly. So these are some things we're going to talk about, and some techniques. It is very interesting understanding why effective public speaking works. However, this is not a course about studying why something works. Our course is to help our students use storytelling to produce effective public speeches and feel more comfortable speaking English. We have a goal, and that's to help our students increase their confidence. So as we get going, we should ask ourselves, if public speaking is the art of storytelling, what is storytelling? And storytelling is the art of taking the listener on a journey. There needs to be content, passionate topic. Passion and excitement are the best persuasive methods. It is true, award-winning public speakers can show passion. However, our students are not yet award-winning speakers, and they should speak about what excites them. So when you're a public speaker, you're not the same person you are when you're in the audience. You are the center of attention, and you want to present a persona of yourself that's comfortable and friendly being on stage talking in public. So you should be presentable, approachable, friendly. You should speak to people and not at them. Lift your chin up is a good tip I give a lot of students. Scan the room. Wink at people who you might know. Body language. A lot of hard to qualify things. When you're giving a speech, the idea should be at the center of the talk. Give the audience an experience of the idea. It could be a personal story, it could be a demonstration, and focus the presentation on one idea so you're not overpacking too many ideas at once. Public speaking is about the audience. It's about connecting with the audience and being understood and conveying in a message or an experience. Public speaking, you can enjoy it, but you don't have to enjoy it. But oftentimes, it's not about the speaker, it's about the audience. And you want to bring them in and make them part of the story. Why is this stuff important? Why is public speaking important? And it's because it's one of the things that helps make us happy. It's a really important part of social interactions. Many times people are asked to give toasts, and a good toast, some good words at a happy occasion will bring people together and inspire them with hope and connection. There's inspiring others is one of the ways that people find happiness. Coaching, bringing the best out of people. That's also related to persuasion. It's a part of self-expression. You can learn a lot through public speaking and find happiness that way. And this is bringing us to Maslow's hierarchies of needs. So maybe this is the first time people have seen this, maybe it's not. I have my own take on what Maslow's hierarchy of needs means in a classroom setting and where education belongs. And that's the idea that I'm going to be talking about for the next 15 minutes or so. So at the bottom of Maslow's pyramid is physiological needs like food, water, security, warmth, and rest. And right above them is safety, security. Those are the basic needs. And school, of course, needs to be a safe place in and of itself. And it's actually a question: does school need to be a place to provide food? And I'm not sure that school needs to be like that place. I think that's more the home and outside of school. But certainly, a school needs to be a safe place. Because school is a place where children find belonging, and this is the next level up of Maslow's pyramid. They find belonging and love, intimate relationships, and friendships. And this is part of psychological needs. And these are needs that are fulfilled by students having friends and connecting with others, and having the school be a safe place for them to meet people and to fit into society. Now you say, Jason, shouldn't our job as teachers to be friends with the students? And I say, I'm not quite sure. As an educator, I do a lot of short workshops. So I'll be in a school with kids for a couple hours and we'll have a good time, but it's not a relationship, a friendship that's gonna carry on beyond, the limited interaction, even if there's respect. And respect is the next level up, the esteem needs. And this is really where I feel that teachers have a huge role to play in encouraging prestige and the feeling of accomplishment in the esteem needs. And we can really give something as educators that their peer friends cannot provide, which is prestige, which is congratulations, which is a compliment. You did a good job, well done. And public speaking a lot of times should be used to from the heads of the classroom to give, if they only participated, even if they didn't give an award-winning speech, even if it's only their first speech and all they could do was have the courage to say their name. We should say, you did a good job, and next time I can't wait to see what you're going to do. Because for us as teachers, it's about next time. It's about the future opportunities that our students are going to be more prepared for because of our training. And of course, that brings us to the top level of Maslow's pyramid, which is self-actualization and achieving one's full potential, including creative activities. And as an educator, like my whole goal is to provide the platform that students can use the lesson or activity that I'm engaging them in to create something, to write an interesting line or an interesting paragraph, to come up with an interesting tactic, to get other students to participate or follow along, or to build a team, or to draw a picture and to express something really that's one of a kind, and achieve that actualization process. So I think it's important to talk about Maslow's pyramid because it's a good idea. It's an idea that I think people should fundamentally know, and if we talk about it, we can work on making our classrooms a more creative, rewarding place to be a student. So I talked about the physiological needs for food, water, and shelter. Primary needs for safety, love, order, love and belonging, friendship, trust, and of course, going up, esteem is respect, dignity, mastery of achievement, and reputation. Please, if you have your microphone on, please mute your microphone. Thank you very much. So Maslow was interested in how humans fulfill human potential, and he thought that this was a ladder directed towards meaning, and he thought that it was so important for people to self-actualize, and if they could self-actualize, here were characteristics that they would have, and I think that these are really good for students to know, like, if we can get our students to perceive reality efficiently and to tolerate uncertainty, to accept themselves and others for who and what they are, to be spontaneous in thought and action, problem-centered, not self-centered, to have unusual senses of humor, to look objectively at life, to be highly creative and resistant to enculturation, but not purposely unconventional. Those are very specific, and I don't know if I would have independently come to any of them except being creative. But it's a good thing that other people have done research, and we have a list that we can look at. Here are more characteristics of the self-actualized. I'm gonna just kind of skip through some of them. So this is interesting. What is the behavior leading to self-actualization? So one, I hope our students are that interested in our lessons. And on a side note, if my internet is unstable again, I will log in right away and continue where I left off. So experiencing life like a child is something I hope our students have an advantage with, because they're still children and maybe can show us a thing or two about learning with absorption. So trying new things is important, because if we try new things, we might fail, but we might find a shortcut or a better way or a more efficient way to do things. So if we can create a safe space where children can try new things, they might self-actualize. And listening to your own feelings in evaluating experiences instead of the voice of tradition, authority, or the majority. Listening to your own feelings instead of the majority, being able to resist peer pressure and find a different way to do something. If nobody knows what the answer is, then following the majority isn't going to help anybody find the better way to do it. And the last one is avoiding pretense, game playing, and being honest is a factor leading up to self-actualization. Being prepared to be unpopular, taking responsibility, and trying hard to identify and have courage. Courage is an important one, because when we're talking about public speaking, many people have a fear of public speaking. It's a very common fear, and it is a substantial. There's a real reason why participants might have fear of public speaking. They might not know what to say and be worried that they will be, made fun of. They might freeze up. People might talk about them. They're the center of the attention, and they've never been that before. And there are social consequences if they say the wrong thing. And I feel that acknowledging that participants might have a legitimate fear of public speaking is a good way to start working on overcoming it. And by overcoming it, by learning some easy first step tactics to just get oriented when you're in front of a group. So it's important, I think this is tying back to Maslow's triangle. And we know that hungry students are going to have difficulty staying on task, and students who aren't emotionally or physically safe are going to, have trouble being relaxed in the classroom. So for the second half of the slideshow, and I think we're more than halfway done, we're going to bring in a quote from Friedrich Nietzsche about he who has a why to live can bear almost any how. And again, he who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. And there was certainly a guy who spoke about why it's an important factor for life, and that was Viktor Frankl, who was born in Vienna in 1905 and trained as a psychiatrist and neurologist, and during World War II was in various Nazi concentration camps where he developed his big idea, which was written in the book Man's Search for Meaning. And Frankl observed that those who were able to survive the experience typically found some meaning in it, such as a task they needed to fulfill. For Frankl personally, his desire to rewrite a manuscript that had been confiscated upon arrival at Auschwitz was a motivating factor for his survival. After the camps were liberated, Frankl resumed his work as a neurologist and psychiatrist. In 1964, he published Man's Search for Meaning, outlining his experiences in the concentration camps and his various ideas and techniques. Developed by Frankl, his theory, logotherapy, is founded on the belief that human nature is motivated by the search for a life purpose. And it's a search for man's personal meaning in life. And his theories were heavily influenced by his personal experience and suffering and loss. One of the reasons we talk about meaning in Viktor Frankl and Maslow's triangle in lesson number 1 is because it's a really good thing to talk about. And the sooner we start talking about our life's purpose, the sooner we can get specific and help others be specific with what is the purpose of my life? What am I doing? The more people we can persuade to follow their specific mission on earth and live fulfilled lives. So that's one of the reasons that we talk about Man's Search for Meaning, is because it's a conversation that we should have as a form of public speaking on helping our students find their meaning. So logotherapy is focused on the future. It helps people find the will to meaning. It helps them if they're experiencing existential frustration, and some of the rest of these get a little bit metaphysical, and dealing with big meaningful topics and metaphysics and why questions of the universe. Frankl, in contrast to Freud, viewed the primary motivation as each person's unique and specific mission that can only be fulfilled by that individual. An example of existential frustration. I'm not gonna go into that. Nope. Interesting, but I don't think that's quite right. Okay, so man should not recognize what the meaning of his life is, but rather he must recognize that is he who is asked. In a word, each man is questioned by life, and he can only answer to life by answering for his own life. He can only respond by being responsible. And part of the meaning of life is its finality. Gonna skip a couple of these. So a question that we might use to guide our conversation later is, what work or accomplishing task did we do that helped us feel fulfilled? Okay, so for our classrooms, what does it mean to have meaning for our students? And I think our goal is to give our students a place of meaning, to ask questions that help them answer and make sense out of their existence, to create and maintain a space for self-actualization, and to remember that public speaking is not about trying to infuse the mundane with passion, but it's about engaging what people are already passionate about and guiding that outward and finding finding passion, finding a way to express what we're passionate about. So we talked about that. Let's take a break. Okay. All right. Very good. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's end the live.